India was a little late in waking up to this shift. Even now, I would say in India, people, yes, they have started understanding what childhood is, but adolescence is still a gray area for them.
कि बच्चा को लगता है पेरेंट्स सिर्फ उसको इंस्ट्रक्शन ही दे रहे हैं कि ये करो वो करो ऐसा करो.
That's the primary objective of the parents also. That okay, बच्चा अब जा रहा है, कम से कम उसे बाहर जाके कुछ खाने को मिल जाएगा.
Make the child एटलीस्ट कि मुझे स्कूल जाना है, मजा है वहाँ पे मुझे कुछ सिर्फ खाने के लिए नहीं जाना, मुझे कुछ सीखना भी है. अरे खेलते भी है लोग, मजा भी होता है, दोस्त भी बनाते हैं, राइट.
We need technology, but more than the technology, we need a responsive parent. We need a responsive caregiver. Early childhood education became part of formal schooling. So now we call it the foundational stage, and this is from age 3 to 8, and this is now the rule.
Or send them into the कि भाई खुद सीखो, जाओ, make your mistakes.
Yeah.
We Indians are so scared to make mistakes. Hi Neha, we meet after so long.
Yeah.
First of all, I just wanted to set the context that this is our 25th friendship anniversary. We have completed 25.
How beautiful is that?
Yeah, we have completed almost 25 years. We joined our college in 2000.
2000, yeah.
Yeah, so it's 25 years.
Yeah, more than that, more than 25 years.
Yeah, great. So, first of all, I just wanted to know, I already know, but for audience context, what you do these days, and then I will come back to the topic.
Okay, so I always tell people I've been into publishing all my life. So It's been more than 20 years now. So I've been into education and curriculum development, and in the last 7-8 years, I've also started taking up professional development workshops for teachers.
Yeah.
Early childhood. So my core specialization is English. Of course, we both are literature graduates. So, but then slowly and gradually, I started developing interest in early childhood education. So I developed a lot of books, curriculum, teaching plans on early childhood education. But when this segment was formally added to my portfolio, I just thought I should do something in this field. Otherwise, I won't consider myself worthy of handling this portfolio.
True.
And this was like about 3 years ago, when I went on to do a postgraduate diploma in early childhood education from Azim Premji University. And that really proved to be an eye-opener for me. Like here I was telling teachers about NEP, the new curriculum framework, the national education policy, so on and so forth. And there I met, workers who were working in Anganwadis. There were teachers who were working in the centers that catered to the children of migrant laborers. And I asked them, what kind of training you need? And they said, मैम बस इतना बता दीजिए कि वो बच्चे इतना शोर करते हैं तो उन्हें संभाले कैसे.
Very
So
interesting.
that was really an eye opener for me, that those teachers, they didn't need to understand about NEP, NCF and what was happening around the world. They just wanted to know the basics. So really, I would say early childhood education is very close to my heart, and really, I think we should definitely do something in this space.
Great.
Yeah.
So that's a good start for the podcast. So what is early child education? Let's break it down, because for general public, even for me, right? Maybe I read, I know you, I'm interested in early child education, but the point is, what is exactly early child education? What is, the policy that you talk about? National Education Policy, NEP?
Yes, NEP, yeah.
What is that? Let's set a context for the conversation and then we'll move forward.
Okay, so before we start discussing about early childhood education, I think it's important that we understand what is childhood.
Yes.
So Ritu, I'm sure you would remember, in medieval paintings, if you look at the medieval paintings, how are the children portrayed in medieval paintings? They are portrayed like mini adults.
Yes.
They are dressed as adults. I mean, little girls, they have those headgears and everything. They are portrayed as like incomplete adults. So childhood in itself is a very new concept.
Yes.
So after Renaissance, I think people started looking at children as not incomplete adults, but
Yes.
as human beings who were innocent, who were untainted by sin. So that was when the whole shift started coming around, and India was a little late in waking up to this shift. So uh, even now, I would say in India, people, yes, they have started understanding what childhood is, but adolescence is still a gray area for them. So
Yeah.
there is childhood, and then suddenly children become adults.
True.
There is no adolescence.
You know, this is so interesting.
Yeah.
So I have a niece and nephew who are very close to me. They stay in US. So one is 7 years old, my niece. I see her curiosity, such a big thing, and she's so much interested in knowing things. And somehow I feel, and this is not to discard the Indian parenting or whatever,
No, not at
this is
all.
to understand
Yes.
that हम जब बच्चे थे, when we were very curious, that was not, attained very nicely. मतलब ज़्यादा
Yeah,
सवाल
yeah,
मत
yeah.
पूछो, जो है यही पढ़ो, and all these things, stuff like that. I want to know about that. What is your, as you have studied, literally observed, studied, understood, and now you are putting your work towards it. Do you think, we have really grown from being रोटे वाला थिंग के रट के जाओ और एग्जाम में पढ़ दो, and now ask questions, be curious.
Of course, yeah.
Okay, tell me about that.
Of course, I would say we have come a long way from there. So yes, so in fact, this early childhood education we were talking about, that this
Yes.
used to be a very unorganized sector earlier. It was only with the coming of National Education Policy NEP 2020 when this was included, in the whole academic structure. So.
Yeah.
Earlier, there were children. I mean, schools, they used to work as per their own rules and regulations. I've seen schools who had just one grade before grade one, some only like LKG, or maybe they would call it UKG or anything. Some schools will have just 2 grades before grade 1, LKG and UKG. Some would have 3 grades. So they were working as per their own convenience, or whatever they thought was suitable for their children. But with the introduction of National Education Policy 2020, early childhood education became part of formal schooling. So now we call it the foundational stage, and this is from age 3 to 8. And this is now the rule that before grade 1, there will be 3 stages. And then the child enters grade 1 at the age of 6. So now this is called the foundational stage, age 3 to 8 years, nursery to grade 2.
So what are these 3 stages that you are talking about?
Okay, so there are actually 4 stages. So there is foundational stage, from nursery to grade 2. Then there is a preparatory stage from grades 3 to 5.
Okay.
And then there is middle school from 6 to 8, and then senior secondary school from 9 to 12.
Okay.
So that's how the whole structure is as of now.
So I want to put some data. That's
Sure.
good point to start with. So the data says India has reached near universal enrollment at the elementary stage.
Yes.
However, the learning outcomes have not risen at same speed. That's one.
Right.
The other fact, if I'm correct, just let me know. 8 out of 10 Indian children are enrolled in some form of early child education. But, that's the but, there is a massive divide. Underprivileged, 51% attend Anganwadi centers.
Yes.
Focus is often more on nutrition
Yes.
than pedagogy.
Yes.
And second, privileged one, 62% attend private preschool, often high pressure academic pre-primary drills. So again, the curiosity thing, the
Yes.
playfulness, and all these things are not there. What's your thought on that?
So yes, there's a very clear divide between the two setups you mentioned. Anganwadis, yes, I agree, they are more focused on nutrition. Since children coming from underprivileged background, their parents, their primary objective is to survive.
Right.
So how can they even think of education, especially in the early childhood education space? I mean, when children are too young. So, when the government or these Anganwadi centers, whether they are run by the government or by any NGOs, so their primary focus is on providing nutrition to the children, so that the parents send their children to these centers so that they get good food. So that's the primary objective of the parents also, that okay, बच्चा अब जा रहा है, कम से कम उसे बाहर जाके कुछ खाने को मिल जाएगा. So they are not that much into the education. Of course, they have limited understanding of pedagogy and everything. And yes, all you spoke about children coming from this elitist class who go to all these fancy play schools. So yes, they have like all the resources at their disposal. So yes, there's a stark divide. But yes, even there, the focus, I would say, so again, as I mentioned, India is still waking up to this whole concept of early childhood education. Even there, I would say the focus as of now is more on school readiness.
And what's that?
So we are just preparing our children for formal schooling, that okay, the child will go into school and there will be like academics. These are the subjects the child will choose going forward, and this is what the child is expected to become. So yes, of course, there is some academic pressure. So of course, we are I think focusing more on school readiness rather than, of course, as you mentioned, building the curiosity in the children.
Right.
So when a child going to a fancy preschool, so of course they'll have like a lot of worksheets to solve and so many things. But I would say the true victory of this whole early childhood education would be when a child comes back home with a lot of questions, with a lot of stories to share, not a lot of worksheets to solve.
This is so interesting. So I was reading a small article. In Israel, what they do is, so when the child comes from school, the parents sit, for them, when they're doing their lunch mein aate hai. So first thing the parent asks their child is, "Aaj kya naya sikha?" And the question why.
Yeah.
So the why thing is, I think completely somewhere missing. We are missing.
Yes.
Because क्यों कैसे कहा वो सब हम थोड़ा बहुत हम पूछते हैं तो the parents are so busy sometimes कि अच्छा यहाँ चले जाओ वहाँ देख लो they divert that. There it is the intent of the parent कि भाई आज तुमने स्कूल में क्या सीखा and find the reason, find the why behind it.
Yes.
Right?
In fact, why is a higher order thinking skill. We speak about, in our curriculum, we talk about lower order thinking skills and higher order thinking skills. So your lower order thinking skills are all, what, who, when, and why is actually the higher order thinking skill.
Let's
why
talk about
and how.
That. I am very much interested. There is a thing, find the why.
Yes.
And you will know the how. How to do it and what.
Right.
Let's talk about that high order, how we can develop it, what can parents do, what can we do, what can teachers do, instead of just finishing the curriculum. If we can just instigate that why in the student and they come back and they study. For example, it is so interesting for me. I keep mentioning about my niece because she's my first, experience to see how the child behaves. What she does, she's just 7-year-old. My sister has made a ChatGPT account for her. So when she sits with me, we have a video call every Sunday or Saturday. So she will just sit and she will ask me questions. Okay, let me ask ChatGPT and then we'll play a GK. Then when she asks me a question, I put a why to her. And then, let me check this. So tell me about that foundational thing, that high order thing, how that can be developed because you're specialist in it. what simple trick we can do to bring that why into the context of education. Even I mean problem क्या होता है कि मुझे जो लगता है जो हम लोग ने बचपन में पढ़ो पढ़ो बोलने से कोई नहीं पढ़ता, बट इसको तुम अब गेमिफाई कर दो,
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल
इसको मजेदार बना दो, राइट? कैसे ढूंढो ये बताओ, and then if you can align their thought process or their interest with that gamify thing,
yes.
Tell me about
that.
it.
That's actually a very good use of technology, and here we talk about limiting the screen time, this and that. Okay, so I don't know how people are going to take it. I'm not against technology. I'm not against screen time at all, provided that it is an active engagement.
Fantastic.
Okay, so the problem comes when we make it when we make the screen time passive. The child is just looking at the screen, maybe like a computer, or maybe a mobile phone, a
Or just
tablet,
scrolling.
and just scrolling. So as you mentioned that you are the one who put a why to the question that your niece is asking ChatGPT. So I think that is something that we really need to do.
Okay.
So of course we need technology, but more than the technology, we need a responsive parent. We need a responsive caregiver. That is very important.
Yes.
Okay, so no technology can teach you more than a responsive caregiver can teach. So I'm very much in favor of screen time and technology, but of course that should be bundled with a very responsive parent and a very
And maybe
responsive
you can
caregiver.
create a category, a time slot for this, and do a very, as you said, a very attentive kind of thing, that okay, let's do it together.
Yes.
Let's gamify it and all.
So for example, let's see, like the child is watching a rhyme on YouTube.
Interesting.
Okay, एक मोटा हाथी घूमने चला. Okay, a very very popular one. And there's a parent who stops the video in between and asks, हाथी कैसा था? मोटा था. हाथी कहाँ जा रहा था? घूमने जा रहा था. So very little things you can do at home, even while the child is watching TV or any video on YouTube or anything. So that responsive parenting, I would say, is very important. That intervention is very important. That's how you build curiosity in young learners.
Great. So I will cross this thing. So this, I think, is more for person or a parent or child who are little privileged, right? Phone है, पेरेंट को पता है, they are educated, उनको बैठ के पढ़ना है, समझना है and all. Then let me come back to the Anganwadi thing again, where parents are not very educated.
Yes.
Right. So my question is, how do we elevate Anganwadi from a nutrition center to, say, a learning hub? Because I want to, keep the track कि हम बस privilege के लिए बात कर रहे हैं, हम educated के लिए बात कर रहे हैं, और हम उन लोगों को भूल ही रहे जो actually maximum percentage of the country is. We don't understand sitting here, being educated, knowing English, Hindi, whatever, science, ये सब कहानी हम बहुत, क्योंकि we are very privileged. हमारे parents ने हमें ऐसे school में भेजा, या if I'm talking about my niece and nephew, they're very, very privileged, right? We don't even understand कि आंगनवाड़ी में जैसा अभी you said कि वो actually खाना मिल जाए मेरे बच्चे को, क्योंकि मैं सारा दिन काम करता हूँ या करती हूँ, ये बैठे रहते हैं घर पे, इनको कुछ तो मिले. I mean, this is so basic, right?
Yeah.
And maybe we are ignorant sometimes and we don't acknowledge. So I want to come back to the Anganwadi, because as you have studied,
so
understood.
In fact, this was part of a project that we did while I was pursuing this course in early childhood education. You can't believe the kind of challenges little children face at Anganwadis.
Tell that.
So this was actually a project that we did. So this was a role play actually. So we were told that it could be a role play, a podcast, or anything. And just imagine that there's an Anganwadi that caters to the children of migrant laborers. And this is there's this new child in the Anganwadi, and this child comes from Andhra Pradesh.
Okay.
So he speaks Telugu. And the Commonwealth Games are happening in Delhi, and because of that a lot of laborers have come down to Delhi. And this child goes to an Anganwadi where most of the children speak in Hindi, and he doesn't
Yeah.
understand Hindi.
Okay.
So just imagine.
Such a nuanced problem.
Yeah. So in this project, I was playing that child,
Okay.
who I don't understand Telugu, but I learned a little Telugu for this project. I was playing this child, and then we showed how this problem could be addressed.
Okay, tell me. It's very
The
interesting.
teacher, could make a little effort. The Anganwadi worker could make a little effort to, understand Telugu and sensitize the other children, about diversity,
And inclusiveness.
inclusivity, of course. And then maybe once in a week, children could talk about their traditions and what kind of practices are followed at their home, so that they could learn from each other. So this is not a very big thing. And Ritu, you mentioned that the children coming from privileged background, they have everything at their disposal. They have these fancy tablets and a lot of other resources. But essentially, they are largely engaged into doing some kind of activities.
Yes.
What I learned in my course was that more than the activities, children learn from experiences. Okay, and you can't even imagine the kind of experiences these so-called underprivileged children may have.
Yes.
Okay, so they may not have these fancy worksheets or these light and sound toys at their disposal. They may be playing with a little top or maybe a
Patthar
tire,
se, yeah.
a patthar, kuch bhi. But even with these, they are able to develop their
Yes.
gross motor, their fine motor skills so well. So okay, we shouldn't be romanticizing poverty here
No,
now,
should not
but imagine, I mean, out of necessity, sometimes they develop all these skills.
Yeah.
They are better negotiators than children coming from the privileged backgrounds.
That I have experienced myself. So the person who used to work at my home, her daughter, she was so smart. She was so empathetic. She would understand if somebody is in pain.
Yeah.
They understand all these things. Somehow they understand. Also, they have such high survival skills.
Yes,
Oh.
yes.
I have learned from that girl that how to maneuver that way, and so yeah, that's interesting.
So
Tell me.
this actually takes us back to the point that even now, okay, so of course the intent is there, but we are still focusing more on school readiness.
Yes.
We are preparing our children for school, not for the life they are going to see after school. That should be the main focus of early childhood education.
So coming back to the thing that from nutrition center to learning hubs, how can you better Anganwadis? Tell me about Anganwadis. First, tell me what is an Anganwadi. Many people might not even know that. हम सुनते हैं वो शब्द, मतलब उस शब्द का क्या मतलब है, क्या कॉन्टेक्स्ट है, गवर्नमेंट क्यों इसको प्रमोट कर रहा है, एंड हाउ फ्रॉम न्यूट्रिशन सेंटर टू हब सेंटर, जैसे तुमने जस्ट मेंशन्ड, प्लेफुलनेस एंड क्यूरेटिंग क्यूरियोसिटी, और बहुत छोटी छोटी चीजें, थोड़ा सा एक स्टेप आगे, टीचर को भी एक स्टेप आगे लेना होगा.
बिल्कुल उसके लिए मुझे लगता है टीचर को सबसे पहले वो एक करियर पाथ उन्हें अपने सामने दिखना चाहिए.
हाँ,
ना
ये बताओ.
तो वहाँ थोड़ा हमें वहाँ काम करने की जरूरत है. If we have, so of course first let's talk about what Anganwadis are. So Anganwadis are these centers where little children, most of them coming from underprivileged background, can go. So of course, as of now, their main focus remains nutrition. Yes, there is some learning also. Children learn some early literacy, early numeracy. They try to introduce these concepts to the children at Anganwadis as well. But yes, the primary focus remains nutrition. Since, early childhood education, there are a lot of stakeholders involved in this.
Yes.
Of course, there's the child, then there's a teacher, parents, community. All of these play a huge role in the whole early childhood education space. And when we talk about Anganwadis, there's a limited involvement of parents. So of course, we can't expect a lot from them, but yes, we can take some baby steps towards making Anganwadis learning centers from nutrition centers. So for achieving that, I think we need to upskill the Anganwadi workers.
That is a teacher also, including the teacher.
Yes. And they need to clearly see that, okay, this is the career path available to me, that okay, as of now I'm an Anganwadi worker, but then going forward I can become an early childhood educator. So they need to be shown that clear path, that trajectory, that okay, this is what I'm this is where I see myself in 2 years, 3 years down the line.
That is where my this question comes. How can the government professionalize ECE teaching? Tell me about that. The discussion fact is, in top performing countries, ECE teachers require the same degree level as high school teachers. In India, the qualification barrier for early years is often much lower. And the idea that I want to talk about is a national teacher first certification that focuses on child psychology and storytelling. Talk to me about that.
This is okay. So we were told, when I was pursuing this course, what is the minimum qualification to become an Anganwadi worker or an Anganwadi teacher?
No, I don't know. What is that?
बड़ी बेचारी सी औरत होनी चाहिए, जो डोमेस्टिक वायलेंस में भी फेस कर रही है, जिसके घर में बड़ी प्रॉब्लम है, जो कि घर से बाहर निकलना चाहती है, और एक थोड़ा लिमिटेड रेम्यूनरेशन में हमारे साथ काम कर ले.
Okay. वो हम उस सेक्शन की बात कर रहे हैं जिसको एक्चुअली एजुकेशन की जरूरत है.
बिल्कुल.
Like
antithesis. This is a harsh truth. Okay. So so I really admire Finland. When that's like one of the happiest countries in the world, and their education system is considered the best in the entire world. And even the records show, PISA and OECD reports that show that Finnish students, they outperform their Asian and their American peers. They frequently use this word called educare. That we have to provide education to the children, but somewhere down the line we also have to care for them. So there is very less academic pressure. Children start schooling at the age of 7. They focus more on building the life skills, curiosity in the learners. They focus less on academics, and then this is what we just talked about. Instead of preparing the children for school, they prepare them for life. So that is something that we can learn from them. Of course, India cannot be Finland. It's a different country, both in terms of demography and socio-economic status and population, of course,
and the diversity also.
But I think these are some little things that we can learn from them. So in Finland, for example, a lot of freedom is given to the state governments, to the municipalities, so there is center that provides the overall support, overall curriculum they decide, but then the local bodies, the local governments, they have a lot of freedom to alter the curriculum and to make changes that suit their requirements. While in India, this largely comes under the Ministry of Women and Child Development. So of course, so EC comes under that, so we can't really do much about this, but yes, they can a little freedom, I can say, if not at the municipal level, at the state level probably can be given, so that they are able to make culturally relevant curriculum for the children.
So again, coming back to the Nordic model, which is Finland and Sweden, as you have said, the fact in Finland, formal education schooling does not start until age 7.
Yes.
You told me. Between 3 to 6, the focus is entirely on play-based learning.
Right.
You mentioned, and social emotional development.
Yes.
Educare is more about
Educare,
that.
yeah.
The data. These countries consistently rank in top 5 of the world top 5 education poll for early education enrollment and safety. The insight, again, which you have mentioned, they prioritize outdoor time, regardless of weather,
Yeah.
fostering resilience and physical health over rote memorization. Again, interesting, another interesting thing. This is apparently called the Reggio Emilia approach in
Yes,
Italy.
yes.
Okay, you tell me more about it. I'll just put the fact. This model views. So the I want
Environment
to
came
the
up with,
environment. The third teacher. Can you see the environment around us as a teacher? Right? For example, these are something we can do in Anganwadis. That's not a big deal, right? To create a safe environment, to create a creative environment, make the child, at least कि मुझे स्कूल जाना है, मजा है वहाँ पे मुझे कुछ सिर्फ खाने के लिए नहीं जाना, मुझे कुछ सीखना भी है, अरे खेलते भी है लोग, मजा भी होता है, दोस्त भी बनाते हैं, राइट? टेल मी अबाउट दैट, हाउ वी कैन do these little things which is not costing us much.
Of course, yeah.
We can involve students from design schools. This is my idea. Come and design this place as their project.
Even that won't be required, but of course we can invite them.
Yeah.
But I don't think it requires a lot of infrastructure, a lot of resources.
Yeah.
We can still make these little changes. Of course, environment plays a huge role in the development of a child.
Yeah.
We often talk about these developmental milestones that a child is able to do this at the age of 3, the child is able to do this at the age of 4. But the environment plays a huge role. These milestones are not watertight.
Yeah.
It's not that all the children will be able to do this much at the age of 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever. The environment plays a huge role. So, this is the difference between a child coming from an underprivileged background and a privileged background.
Yeah.
They are they are coming from different environments.
Yes.
So of course, environment plays a huge role in this entire setup. And of course, as I also mentioned earlier, we should focus more on providing experiences to the learners, not just do some activities. So there's a difference between activities and experiences. Activity is like when you give a set of blocks to the children and you ask them to construct something. Experiences when you, for example, take them on a nature walk. And while they are, just having a walk across the park, you show them, okay, this is a leaf. This leaf is different from that leaf. This is green color. Oh, do you see this red flower?
Yes.
Do you see this yellow flower? So even while they are walking across the garden, walking across a park, there is so much that they can learn.
Yeah.
So we should be focusing more on providing the experiences to the children, not just focus on some activities. Activities are just done once or twice and then we just forget about them. Experiences stay with them.
So this thing that you talk about, going through the forest, experiencing the environment, knowing what the nature is all about, understanding the evolution, concept of evolution. So, after what... I mean, that's not a big deal, right? We can take them to a forest.
Yeah.
We can take them to a zoo. We can take them to any natural kind of environment and make them experience. कुछ नहीं करना.
Yes.
देखो, feel करो, समझो, फिर आके बताओ कैसा लगा. A very simple experiment which I feel really works. So, here I want to talk about one more thing. As you have said, we are doing podcast, right? We love to discuss things. We always used to talk all these things on phone.
Yeah.
Now we are sitting and discussing things. Tell me about the importance of storytelling for kids. How that can be, because हर बच्चे को कहानी बोलना तो आता ही है. चाहे उसको चॉकलेट लेना हो, चाहे उसको कुछ गिफ्ट लेना हो, कहानी बढ़िया बता देता. How can we make it more as an experiential thing? This can be done for both, right? मतलब हम बोलते कि tell your experience, बहुत बढ़िया सा आज ये हुआ वो हुआ, can we make it as a curriculum?
And you know, storytelling is such an important skill.
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Everything is a story.
Okay, there's a reason why people buy an Apple phone. Their story is so strong. Okay.
Absolutely.
Apple never talks about having
features.
the features. Okay,
Yeah.
these many megapixel camera and itni RAM or itna sab. उतने features की बात नहीं करते. Think different.
Yes.
Okay, that
That's
in
it.
itself, yeah, and they focus more on creating, easing the usability.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
More
so
it's like what you
storytelling-
can create with that.
Yes, yes.
Rather
yes.
than what you have in hand. This
Yeah.
is like your tool. And with this tool, you can create your own universe, state, and all. Yeah.
So there's a story behind that, no? I mean, storytelling is such an important skill. लोग चाहे घर में कुछ कोई भी OTT प्लेटफॉर्म देख रहे हैं, आज तो मैं Netflix देखूंगी, चिल करूंगी. So why only Netflix? They may be watching some other OTT platform, but why always Netflix comes to your mind? Okay, क्योंकि वो story जो है उसके पीछे जो उन्होंने create की है, that's very strong. So storytelling is something that can't just be limited to early childhood education. It continues, it stays with us for our lives. If we become good storytellers, we can do anything in our lives.
Yeah.
So of course storytelling is very important, and I think we should so as of now we are focusing a lot on storytelling these days, even in early childhood education, and I think this should remain the primary focus. Because when children have stories to tell, that in itself is the true victory of a curriculum.
Can you tell me, the steps or maybe the way we can encourage these things more at house? Not like as a process or anything, but actually, when they come back, okay, tell me what happened in the school today. Tell
Again,
me what-
responsive parenting. Yeah.
ठीक है. So I want to come back to storytelling. Tell me, as a curator or someone who is developing such courses, what are the things a parent can do, maybe a grandmother can do? I mean, grandmothers, हम तो नानी और दादी से ही सीखता है. आजकल nuclear family, I understand that context also. That's fine. But as a parent also, ऐसा नहीं आपको पूरा दिन देना है या कुछ देना है. How can you be interesting to your child? कभी कभार क्या होता है कि बच्चा को लगता है पेरेंट सिर्फ उसको इंस्ट्रक्शन ही दे रहा है कि ये करो वो करो ऐसा करो. बट इफ द पेरेंट इज वेरी एंगेजिंग और बच्चे को मजा आ रहा है आके बात करने में, पता है आज ये हुआ, आज ऐसा हुआ, एंड देन यू एंगेज, कैन वी बिल्ड that kind of storytelling at home also?
Yeah.
So tell me about it. How can we do that?
Okay, I'll tell you something from my childhood.
Yes.
So my mother, she's not very educated. So जब वो schooling कर रहे थे उस time पे 10+2 भी नहीं था, 11 तक होता था school. She's just 11th pass.
ठीक है.
But I would say she was such a responsive parent. She was such an involved parent. उनका हमेशा से एक चीज मानना था कि बच्चे खुद से आके मुझसे बात करें. So whenever we used to reach home after school, she used to ask us a lot of questions. आज स्कूल में क्या किया, क्या पढ़ा, पूरा डिटेल में पूछती थी. मैम, फिर मैम को क्या सुनाया, फिर मैम ने क्या, अच्छा बच्चों ने सारे बच्चों ने क्लैप किया आपके लिए. फिर ऐसे करके धीरे धीरे वो आदत में आ गया. So both with me and my brother, the moment we would enter house after school, we would start. पूरा 1 घंटा 2 घंटा बैठ के, and mom used to listen. Sometimes she would be busy doing something and she would say कि मुझे बस 2 मिनट दो, मैं ये खत्म करती हूँ, फिर मैं वापस आके सुनूंगी.
So good.
And she used to come back and listen to our stories after finishing her work. So I think that is very important. So both me and my brother, we are still so close to our mom. Since childhood, she built that. She formed that kind of a relationship. So I think that's very important.
That's where we can come ना कि आके बस बताओ, मैं सुनूंगी. ये भी नहीं कि मैं बस बैठ के कुछ और करूँ. I'll be an attentive listener.
and you could be doing your work.
Yeah.
You could take like a little time.
Yes.
Like my mom used to say कि
Yeah.
मुझे 2 मिनट का टाइम चाहिए, मुझे ये खत्म करना है,
हाँ.
पर मैं वापस आके सुनूंगी.
हाँ.
And she would always make sure that she comes back and listens to
Yeah.
us.
So imagine after so many years, you actually remembered that incident.
Yeah.
So what I have realized.
So even sorry to
tell me.
interrupt.
No, tell.
Even now,
This
you
is
know.
very interesting to me. Yeah.
So even now, if I don't speak to my mom, even even for a day,
हाँ.
she would call me in the evening. आज बात नहीं की. और रोज रोज क्या बात करेंगे, रोज रोज क्या बताने के लिए है.
हाँ.
पर मॉम से इसकी नहीं एक फोन करके बता दो ठीक हूँ, and that much is enough.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what I was trying to tell, that we always remember those times in our childhood जो हमें शायद retrospection में याद होता है अरे ये सीखा था इस इंसिडेंट से. What I remember from my childhood that we used to go, I used to create this events and all जब कुछ भी आता नहीं था. But my mother never said कि यहाँ मत जाओ experience करो. And that was my learning experience which helped me till today. Go and curate things, go and create things, develop करो. वो उन्होंने कोई consciously नहीं सिखाया है कि करो. मैं करती थी, वो support करती थी. That I think, and again coming back to storytelling, that's what you said, कि listen to your child, let them have their words, ask them questions.
Yeah.
Find the why and all these things. I want to come back to another part. I was just while researching about things, I found this fact also interesting. So this is very interesting, as you have said, screen free. AI, the invisible tutor. So use technology as your tutor.
Yes.
Yeah. As your assistants, rather than becoming, dependent on them. Use it as a tool,
right,
and all those things. Right. Second thing, what I have realized, and it has not changed yet. That's why I think it's important to talk about. हम लोग obedience पे ना बहुत ज़्यादा focus करते हैं. तुमने नहीं सुना, ये नहीं किया, वो नहीं किया. So I want to talk about this. Most Indian schools, I would say even parents, are designed to produce obedient kids. The fast changing world needs agency. Okay, that's my fact. The fact. So for example, here we are telling students what to do. ये करो. Obedience is what, ये ठीक नहीं है, ये है वो. We don't push our children or send them into the कि भाई खुद सीखो, जाओ, make your mistakes.
Yeah.
We Indians are so scared to make mistakes कि हम ये नहीं समझते मिस्टेक से ही आइटरेशन होता है. एक चीज जब करते हो तुम नया सीखते हो. Of course safe environment पे, that's very important. But it's okay to make mistakes.
Yeah.
And most importantly, as we are talking about early child education, so basically from 1 to 5, 1 to 7 जो आपका जो एज ग्रुप है, तभी आपका जो है ब्रेन बहुत फास्ट डेवलप होता है.
बिल्कुल.
वहाँ के जो एक्सपीरियंसेस है, the neuroscience says that stays forever. हमें लगता है बच्चों को याद नहीं, पर उस समय सबसे ज्यादा चीजें हम वो कर सकते हैं. Can we make, rather than telling them be obedient or not, I'm not saying that obedience is wrong, but then rather than saying ये गलत है, ये सही है, ऐसा करो, वैसा करो, can we make our children more responsible and accountable by giving them agency? As you said, treat them as mini adult. हम जो बच्चों के साथ जो बचपने वाली बात, treat them as adult, they will respond accordingly. How can we develop this, and what are your thoughts on it? As someone who has read, researched, and now creating things for those, early education curriculum or whatever. Tell me that.
So I would say there needs to be a fine balance between obedience and then free play. So we talk about free play.
Yes.
Free play is unstructured play.
Yeah.
You just let children be, let them explore, let them learn on their own. So that is unstructured play.
Okay.
But then, of course, there is some structured play as well. So I would say that this is very similar to that. We need to create a balance between the two. Of course, obedience is required. We need to tell our children that okay, this is right, that is wrong. But we also need to give them little freedom to explore whatever they wish to and learn on their own, learn from their own mistakes. So, of course, a little bit of protection is needed, but then a little bit of freedom is also required. So there needs to be a balance between the two.
Great. I'm going to end the podcast now, but I have 5 very, very direct, precise, concise questions. First thing, what we can do better as a parent. I have 5 persona to whom I'm trying to address this conversation, including us. So first, the parent. What can we do better as a parent for that age group? Because I always read and understood that our mother is our first teacher.
Yes.
Yeah? For you, for me, I mean, we are very much influenced by our mother.
Yes.
Till now.
Yeah.
Right? So tell me, as a parent, what can we do better? And let's concise in such a way 3 pointers which you think बहुत basic सा हम कर सकते हैं, and that should be for both the privilege as well as आंगनबाड़ी. दोनों के लिए ये common तो हम कर ही सकते हैं.
बिल्कुल.
ये बताओ.
I think we need to be more involved. We need to be more responsive. So that is one. Again, don't run after academics.
Perfect.
Just let children explore. Just build the curiosity in them. Next, this is for the privileged parents, I would say. Screen time is good, but then bundle it with your own presence.
Perfect. Second, to the NGOs, to the government reformer, what can we do for them? Again, I would focus more on Anganwadis because private schools might be doing their own thing, but let's address both.
Yeah.
The Anganwadis also and the play schools and all, privileged one. I want to address both. They might have similar things also. They might have different things also. That's the second category I want to address. Yeah.
I would say we can decentralize the system to an extent possible, to whatever the extent is possible. Of course, the government, the central government would provide the overarching support, but then a little autonomy, if not at the municipal levels, at the state government level at least, so that they are able to adapt the curriculum as per their own requirements.
And what about the NGOs and all who are actually doing work on this sector?
Okay, I think they can provide adequate support to the Anganwadis and
they can, right?
They can. Of course,
and it can be more.
Many of them even design curriculum for children since they understand the needs of the local children a little better. So yes, of course, I think NGOs can play a huge role.
And also
space.
Decentralization, we personally also talk. Break it down. Top to down, bottom to up, we can think of, because finally that district needs to be, that village needs to be addressed.
Right.
जो नहीं तो बहुत गैप हो जाएगा अगर वहाँ पे कोई बैठा हुआ ऊपर कोई उसको पता भी नहीं हुआ चल क्या रहा है. So give more power to the local bodies.
In fact, NGOs you mentioned, right?
Yeah.
So I think the community can play a huge role. NGOs can play a huge role in sensitizing the communities.
Yes. Very interesting.
We always say, it takes the whole village to raise a child. So build that village.
Yes, build that village. Very interesting. Third persona, or to the people, the school owner or principal. Tell them what are the things. Again, now when I'm talking about the school owners and the principals, what I mean is a school in a village also, a school in a, very privileged, maybe a Gurgaon top school, and also a small school in some village where there are not so many adequate resources. What can we do for both?
Okay. Just build the curiosity in the learners. Don't focus so much on academics, especially in the early childhood space. like sometimes teachers are very worried that the child is not able to write. A 3-year-old child can't even hold a pencil. We are
True.
trying to push a pencil into a hand that should be digging into sand.
So
Okay, so don't focus so much on the academics, especially in early childhood education. Children will fare well at academics once they grow up. Just focus on building their fine motor, gross motor skills. Just build a curiosity.
So I want to add one more thing that is my personal observation, which I think you would agree, is that create the environment also.
Create the environment, yes, of
For
course.
privileged, वो तो चलो स्कूल में सारे structure. Even for a village school, you can create an interesting room, ना?
Yeah,
Drawing
yeah.
करके, ये करके, create your own space. अपना वो करो and all. एक चीज मुझे बहुत interesting लगता है, and I am a big fan of the culture of Japan. वहाँ पे बच्चे को they teach how to clean toilets.
Yeah.
मतलब अपना टॉयलेट खुद साफ करो जाके. That's not something which is गंदा है, ये है. That is your own space to keep clean. If somebody gives their toilet clean, they'll keep their room also clean.
Yeah.
Let it be a exercise.
Yeah,
कोई
yeah.
गंदा वाला बात नहीं है, सब जाओ अपना टॉयलेट क्लीन करो.
So this is how children learn from experiences.
Yes.
We are focusing on activities. We should be focusing on experiences, and this is what school owners, principal can do. Focus on experiences,
Build.
not random activities.
Great. The grandparent or the community leader that you have talked about, ना, कि घर में बाकी लोग कैसे, they can contribute. So I want to talk about that person, ना, कि can we involve our, क्योंकि पहले तो वो बहुत natural था कि घर में दादी है, नानी है, अभी वो उतना है नहीं. So even they have how they can add value to that. Tell me that.
So I think community includes everyone,
Yes,
not
yes.
just your grandparents. So I think include everyone. Even I would say even your domestic help,
Yes.
your neighbors,
Interesting.
everyone.
Yeah.
You can learn so much from them, as you yourself mentioned that you learn so much from your domestic help's daughter.
Yes. I do.
So just build that feeling of community. I think that's very important.
Bring them also into
Bring
your
them
thing.
also into your own space.
Perfect. I want to add one more community who can add some kind of value to it, which we actually we feel we can't, but we should. Is the young entrepreneur community.
Yeah.
The people who are interested in that. क्योंकि सबका ही तो बच्चों के साथ तो सबका ही connection है. For example, I will give an example as I've told you about my helper.
Yeah.
Right? अगर उनके बच्चों को उन्होंने घर पे रखा हुआ है कि दीदी ये तो नहीं कर पा रहे, स्कूल तो इतना दूर है, can you take that step?
Yeah.
Right? And help them bridge that gap. ठीक है? Second thing, can you go to your nearby schools?
Yes.
Not the privilege. बहुत छोटे छोटे schools हैं.
बिल्कुल.
क्या आप वहाँ जाके महीने में एक दिन उन बच्चों के साथ पढ़ाई कर सकते हो?
बिल्कुल. एटलीस्ट ऑब्जर्व कर सकते हैं, वहां से स्टार्ट करें.
वहां से स्टार्ट कर सकते हैं. राइट? कि भाई महीने में एक दिन डेडिकेटेडली जाओगे, बच्चों के लिए कुछ ले जाओगे, बच्चों की कहानी, मतलब बिकॉज वहाँ के टीचर्स हो सकता है उतने वेल इक्विप्ड ना हो, तो एक दिन मुझे लगता है, आई एम ए बिग फैन ऑफ सिनेमा, आई हैव स्टडीड सिनेमा एंड ऑल, कैन वी डू वन गुड सिनेमा सेशन विद देम? क्योंकि वो एंटरटेनमेंट लगता है, अच्छी सिनेमा दिखाओ, बात करो उनसे, इंक्लूड ड्रामा, include cultural activity, include art, include cinema, and can we do that?
This actually reminds me of a person. So my ex-colleague's mother-in-law, she was a principal in a very reputed school, and then she retired from that school. But then she was a teacher at heart, right?
Yeah.
So she started teaching children from all these laborers. So उनके घर का वो बिल्डिंग का कुछ कंस्ट्रक्शन वो सब चलते रहता था, तो उनके बच्चों को लेके उन्होंने उनको पढ़ाना शुरू किया, and then slowly and gradually they started loving coming to her. So sometimes she won't do anything, she would just let them watch a movie. Sometimes she would take them to a zoo. और कुछ छोटा सा होता था तो उनको सिर्फ सबको एक पेंसिल, एक इरेजर कुछ उनको गिफ्ट दे दिया. तो So this is not a very huge
किसी
thing.
सामने वाले कैफे में ले जाओ,
हाँ, हाँ.
let them experience the
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
एक दिन ड्राइंग सेशन करा दो सबके लिए, because these are very small things, right? But we often, when I think and I ask, अरे हम क्या कर सकते हैं? Actually हम बहुत कुछ कर सकते हैं. The thing is that dependency on only government is not going to solve this big problem. आप अगर break down करो problem को, आप अगर ऑब्जर्व करो, जस्ट इन द वे यू सेड कि ऑब्जर्व कि ये तो बहुत छोटे इश्यूज है,
बिल्कुल,
आप इनको इन्वॉल्व कर लो अपने चीजों में. यू डोंट हैव टू डू मच, इन्वॉल्व करो, एक इंटरेस्ट क्रिएट कर दो, फिर स्कूल भेजो. शुरू में क्या हो रहा है, जो मुझे दिखता है कभी कभार, वहां जाते ही वो रोटे वाला हो जाए, ABCD, ये बोले कि मेरे को आधा तो समझ नहीं आ रहा है, मैं क्यों जाऊं. But if you give them something interesting to go back to, आज you and me, मतलब मैं एक्सपीरियंस से बोल सकती हूँ, अगर मुझे कोई बोल दे ये पढ़ के ये कर दो, मैं नहीं कर पाऊंगी. ये पूरा पॉडकास्ट ही मैं बता रहा, बिकॉज मेरा इंटरेस्ट है. यू नो, यू ऑल्सो हैव इंटरेस्ट, वी कम फ्रॉम दैट, हमें पढ़ने में मजा आता है, चलो उसके बारे में बात करते हैं, ये हमारे इंटरेस्ट का है, और उस हिसाब से करते हैं. बच्चों को भी हमें लगता है जो फ्यूचर जनरेशन आ रहा है, जो फ्यूचर टाइम आ रहा है, उसमें वो रट्टा वाला कहानी चलेगा नहीं. आपको इंटरेस्ट वाई घुसाना पड़ेगा उसमें. एनी क्लोजिंग नोट्स फ्रॉम यू इन दिस पॉडकास्ट? कुछ भी, डू यू वांट टू से एनीथिंग मोर? डू यू थिंक वी हैव मिस्ड समथिंग?
I think we have covered pretty much everything. To conclude, I would just like to say that we should let children be. We should treat them like friends. Yeah.
And treat them as equals.
I
want to say, just to end this conversation, that we should not treat them just as a responsibility. We should treat them as somebody who's a buddy.
Yeah.
Keeping
and definitely not as investments.
Yes. That's okay. That we have to finally we have to let go कि भाई ये सिर्फ इनको पढ़ाना इसलिए नहीं कि मैंने बुढ़ापे में ये क्या
बिल्कुल
let them friends
stop looking at them from that perspective. Let them enjoy their childhood.
Yeah.
Let them be a child.
Let them be a child, and let them be a curious child.
Yes, a curious child.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.